First one of many of these of the day, huh?
It's a good job. No complaints.
Could be a lot worse.
No.
Speed.
Okay. Let me ask you. Let me ask you first about that great rendition of "Do You Think I'm Sexy?"
Oh.
We were just watching that in the other room there. That might be the best version ever, huh?
Oh, well, thank you. That's it's sort of the character Stuart, my father, who's Scottish in the movie. It's a little tribute to a fellow Scottish artist, Rod Stewart.
I felt like the scenes where you're playing your father are some of the best ones in the movie. It's almost like you stole scenes from yourself, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody do before.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's the character's based on a friend of my father's, father of my friends. Friend of my father's, interesting. A friend of my father's,
Yeah.
and my father, growing up in Toronto, and they were Scottish. There's a lot of Scottish people in Toronto.
Yeah. Was it difficult, just technically speaking, for you to, play yourself, to have to play against yourself in a scene?
Yeah, it was. And Tommy had a very hard, task ahead of him, which he did brilliantly well. I mean, he choreographed some really fabulous sequences where I walked from one side of the frame to the other, and the technique is known as VistaVision.
Yeah.
And I couldn't begin to explain how it works. You put a hemiunibal spherical rod in with a 7 and a 6, and you spin it around. Trust me on this. I have no idea how it works.
But it works.
Yeah,
It works.
evidently.
Yeah.
And so Tommy masterminded that whole split screen thing.
How much of that stuff in particular was written, and how much did you improvise or come up with?
Well, it's very hard to improvise in film because if you have any sort of coverage on it, you have to have certain uniformity of takes. But
Right.
A lot, some of the Stewart stuff was improvised. There's one line which is he'll be crying himself to sleep tonight in that huge pillow of his, because his son has a very large head. See the movie; it'll make sense.
It does make sense if you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
In doing Wayne's World, you were doing a character you had done for a long time.
Yeah.
Here now, for the first time in a film anyway, you're doing another character that I presume someone else has written. Was it a different adjustment for you?
Well, are you talking about Stewart?
Well, I'm talking about Stewart, I'm talking about Charlie, I'm talking about the whole film in general. Again, in Wayne's World, it was a thing that you had played before. This was just
Right.
a different version.
Well,
now it was, was this a different experience for you doing a film like this?
Yeah, but it's a different experience in a film context. On Saturday Night Live, half the time I play in my own persona. And when I was at Second City, half the time I played my own persona. But what
Yeah.
happens at Saturday Night Live is that you tend to, create these worlds, and those are the things that recur. But you can be anything from the only guy in a sketch to a guy holding a spear in the back at Saturday Night Live. It is a true ensemble work. And often I am in my own persona, so it's something I've done a lot, but I've only done one movie. And in my second movie, I play myself, and
Yeah.
I play my own Scottish father. So it's something that I've done leading up to this a lot.
Did you feel, because of the success of Wayne's World, more pressure on you this time from the outside media, if nothing else?
More scrutiny, but
Yeah.
no more pressure. I put plenty of pressure on myself anyways just to do something that I would want to see. So pressure isn't something I factor in from outside forces. I'm so happy to have a job. I'm so happy that I get another turn at bat. That's pressure enough, just to sort of not squander that great opportunity,
I was reading that article in Us magazine before I came, and it seems like you had to spend the whole article defending yourself.
I think that's what happens. I remember seeing similar Us articles on different people, and I won the lottery. I got very, very lucky. My first time out of the gate, it did really, really well, and who knew? I mean, the universe just smiled, and then that leads to people just being interested, and it's very flattering because I'm from the suburbs of Toronto, and my dad sold encyclopedias, and now people are going, is it true that Madonna calls your house, and are you part of an alien UFO sex diet? And, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's very interesting. Nobody asked me that 2 years ago. It was sort of like, you like hockey? That's great. Shh, stand over there, Skippy. That's great. No, shh, sleepy time. So
you,
it's a natural part. It's
Sure.
a great job, you know, and to have like people put negative spins every now and then on something. I mean, mostly there's the other side too is weird. It's like getting like these articles that are like so incredibly flattering that he can turn base metals into gold, and you know, he can actually speak with animals. It's like, well, actually I can't, but thank you. That's very nice. It's a weird up or down, and it's fine.
You're going to, I'm sure you're going to be making the circuit of the talk shows as you have in the past. It's going to be different this fall. Can you kind of handicap the whole talk show lineup that's coming up?
Well, I don't know. I don't. I think a good friend of mine, Conan, I think is going to do a great job. He actually helped with parts of the script. He
Oh, is that
threw in
right? On
lines.
this one?
Yeah. We met with him and we jammed with him, and basically I just sat there and laughed for an evening and just wondered at the marvel that is Conan, who is one of the most naturally gifted, funniest guys I've ever met, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And Letterman, of course, is amazing. I remember when I lived in England, there's 3 things I missed: my friends and family, hockey, and Letterman. A tremendous influence on me, and just a great show. And I think, Letterman and Conan existing will happily, and I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fabulous.
She tells me my time's up.
Your time is up.
Yeah, quick, huh?
See you later.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
thanks very much.
Not at all.
Enjoyed
Thank
meeting you.